Hello and welcome everybody to another Pioneer Masters draft. It is now going to be 23 hours before Pioneer Masters will no longer be draftable on Arena, I believe. And for that reason, we will bid Pioneer Masters a nice farewell by doing a final draft. Now, what were my thoughts on Pioneer Masters overall? I thought it was okay. I thought, given that they wanted to introduce all the Pioneer cards to Arena, they did a pretty good job with it. There were some fun archetypes, but I do think it could have maybe used just a little more seasoning, a little more time to really turn it into a more well-rounded limited format, but it's okay. We're going to hop in here and see if we can finish things off with a bang here. Try to get a trophy in our last Pioneer Masters draft. Now, before we head into this draft, I just wanted to say that this video is brought to you by TCGplayer.com. Go to TCGplayer.com for all your TCG singles and sealed product needs. Whether you need some booster boxes or some singles to round out your modern deck, your standard deck, or your commander deck, check out TCGplayer.com. Make sure you click that affiliate link in the description below before you make any purchases. Additionally, check out HeavyPlay.com for premium Magic the Gathering supplies and accessories. If you want top-of-the-line deck boxes, playmats, sleeves, dice boxes, and more, go to HeavyPlay.com/paulcheon for 10% off your first order. Okay, let's do something sweet. Let's do something fun. And see what we open here. Alrighty. We got Sylvan Caryatid, which is just a nice card if you're looking to do some kind of multicolor nonsense deck. There's also Boon Satyr, which is pretty good if you're looking to, maybe draft green-white, green-red. It's just a nice little creature overall. Cartel Aristocrat is nice, but I don't really want to start the draft going black and white. I don't mind going black-white if black-white is specifically open, but I don't think I want to take that here. Undead Butler is also a totally good creature. I've really been enjoying playing this card in a lot of my decks. And Courier's Briefcase is really nice if you want to do the gate strategy. And you know what? It's the last draft. Let's start with the Sylvan Caryatid and try to have a lot of fun, okay? Let's try to go deep. We're not going to necessarily draft aggressive red decks. We're just going to take the Caryatid and just take the best cards and see where that leads us. And where that leads us is, well, there's no gate payoff cards here, which is unfortunate. There's a Gnarlback Rhino, which is not a bad creature to ramp into. There's also Heartpiercer Manticore, which I do think is significantly better than something like a Lifebane Zombie. I have never really drafted red-green before. I wonder if the Manticore is even better than the Rhino in red-green. Let's take the Manticore. I just think it's the best card in the pack. Urban Evolution is fine, but there's just so many effects like this, and I think the Manticore is just a premium creature. So let's go ahead and take the Manticore, and that's another Manticore. Back-to-back Manticore is a great place to start. I know we started with the Sylvan Caryatid trying to do something cool, but I mean, I can still technically play these color combinations, but of course the Manticore is great in any aggressive red shell. There's also Rimrock Knight, Skyrider Elf if I wanted to go Domain, which would be the other considerations here, but I do think the Manticore is a cut above. So I don't mind starting the draft with a couple of Heartpiercer Manticores. I think that's a really, really nice way to start. And then now we have a fourth pick, Wild Slash. So perhaps a lot of other people looking to try to just draft kind of Gates control decks or Grixis control decks. And maybe they're just leaving us with all the red cards here. But Wild Slash here is obviously fantastic. Abhorrent Overlord is also just a nice top-end win condition. I've definitely lost to this card and won with this card before. But I do think it's probably better to just take another premium red card after we've taken back-to-back Heartpiercer Manticores. Notably, there's also an Unflinching Courage, which is pretty nice if you do the green-white Auras thing. Had we taken Gnarlback Rhino, we could have maybe considered that. But for us, I do believe this is going to be a Wild Slash. And, now we're just clearly a red base and just trying to figure out what maybe our second color should be, right? We have 3 fantastic red cards in the Caryatid. Moving on to pack number 5, there is a Guild's Payoff card, but this doesn't seem to be that direction that we're going. The Gate deck. It just doesn't look like we're going there. There's a Black Bloom Rogue, which is a decent card. Thunderclap Wyvern. Apparently it's Wyvern. I Googled it, and I've been calling it Wyvern all my life, but apparently it's Wyvern. But anyways, not something that we want with this start here so far. So I think for me, it's going to be the Witch's Mark. This is just a really good card in any aggressive red deck, and I think it's probably just better than the Screecher and the Black Bloom Rogue anyways. I think this is honestly just the best card in this pack for us, so let's go ahead and take that here. Probably not going to want to pair the red with the green, but we shall see. And now, ooh, that's a late Zulaport Cutthroat. This is a very, very undervalued card. Admittedly, I also undervalued this card, but red-black just has lots of like chip damage. We have a couple of Manticores, and with the Cutthroat, if you can pick up a Nantuko Husk and some other sacrifice effects, this kills your opponents really, really quickly. I've actually probably had more success drafting kind of more mid-range red-black decks with, you know, somewhat aggressive starts, but with Cutthroats and Screechers, you can really drain your opponents out. So let's go ahead and take the Cutthroat here, and maybe we'll finish things off with a nice little red-black deck. Moving on to pick number 7 here. Kind of wish we took the Undead Butler over the Caryatid. We have a Possessed Skob, which is very good, but I don't mind Gurmag Angler. I'm not a big fan of Ordeal of Purphoros unless I'm red-white and I have some heroic cards where you can actually sacrifice the Ordeal quickly. There's also a Wandering Fumarole if you wanted to go into blue-red aggro, but I just, you know, I think I'd rather just take the Gurmag Angler here. Now, if we do see like a late Storm Chaser Mage or any other good blue-red cards, I'd move in that direction, but I'd rather just take the Angler. I do think the Angler is a really nice top-end card, and look at this. I don't know if all the high-ranked players decided to move on from Pioneer Masters and draft Duskmourn, but there is no way an Ob Nixilis' Cruelty should be in the pack. Pick 8 with an Undead Butler and a Devour Flesh. There's just 3 black playable cards. This pack must have been absurd, but there is no world, literally 0 worlds, where Ob Nixilis' Cruelty should be pick 8, but that's a great sign. It tells us that black is in fact open, and we are probably in the correct color combination here. Undead Butler tabling as well. We are getting it all here. Undead Butler, of course, working extremely well with something like a Gurmag Angler. Now we have the choice between Supernatural Stamina and the McKindy Slide Runner. I'm actually not sure which one I want. I guess I'll just take the 2-drop just because it's a bigger disaster if I don't get enough 2-drops in my deck, I think. So let's just go ahead and take that. Ooh, there is the Husk. Oligarch and Sajiri Shelter also tabled. I mean, no... Oh, Black Bloom Rogue tabled too? All right, literally nobody's black, it feels. This is insane. I mean, Akum Warrior is not something I'm really interested in playing, but Black Bloom Rogue is fantastic. This is just a solid creature to play, so I love being able to play 17 lands with a Black Bloom Rogue. Happy to be in that spot, and wow. We have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 cards that I'm happy with. And nobody is black-white either with the Last Pick Sin Collector. But we are in an excellent, excellent spot here with what we have so far. And of course, I was going to say we opened a pack with no playables, but we actually opened Witch's Mark, which is fine. Anchor to the Ether is a nice removal effect, but of course we don't need that. There's an Evolving Wilds, which is actually interesting as well, just to make sure that we have good mana. But I do think Witch's Mark is good enough where I'm just going to take that over the Evolving Wilds here and figure things out later. And now we have pack 2, pick 2, couple of options. Acheron Crusader and Undead Butler are the ones that stand out to me. I don't think Sire of Insanity is particularly great. There's also Pilgrim's Eye, there's a Gate Colossus, but I really think it's between these two. Honestly, I think this is, as much as I love Acheron Crusader and being aggressive, I think you really need a lot of ways to target this, and typically this is better in red-white. It can be good in black-red as well, but look, we already have a couple of cards that require embalming, right? It's fodder to sacrifice, and I think we're moving more into the sacrifice angle than the hyper-aggressive Acheron Crusader deck. We have 2 Witch's Mark already, but I think Undead Butler on average will be stronger. We have the Gurmag Angler and 2 Embalm cards already. So why don't we go ahead and take that? Noting that there is a good chance that the Undead Butler would have tabled, but I'm just going to play it safe here and take the Butler there and move forward. Moving on to pack 2, pick 3, there's a Boulder Salvo, but I think given that we picked up that second Undead Butler and we have 2 Witch's Marks, we do a pretty good job of fueling our graveyard. So I'll just take the second Gurmag Angler here as well and move on. Like I said, this is looking more like a mid-range deck than anything. And this pack is pretty weak, so I think this is an excellent time for us to pick up a Rakdos Guildgate. Not really interested in any of these cards here. Dragon-Style Twin, 5 mana 3/3. There's just too much decent removal where this card just dies. And for 5 mana 3/3, it's not what you want. Clear Shot is excellent, the best card in this pack, but happy enough with the Rakdos Guildgate here. And this pack isn't going as well. I mean, it's looking okay. Now I have the choice between Undead Butler and Black Bloom Rogue. Honestly, I'm just building a self-mill theme deck here. Triple Undead Butler with double Angler, double Heartpiercer Manticore. That is a lot of value. So I am very, very happy with this configuration. You know what? Honestly, this is the type of deck where I'd be probably happy with a second Nantuko Husk. But we have just a bunch of sacrifice things. I mean, this deck is just looking really, really nice. Could use some good threes, and guess what? That's a good 3 here. Humble Defector is cool if you have a lot of Nantuko Husks, because there's a cool trick where you can tap this. With the ability on the stack, you can still sack it to the Nantuko Husk, and you effectively get a 2-mana 2/1 card that draws you 2 cards. But we only have the 1 Husk. Gearcrafter is one of the best commons in the set, and it's still really, really great with cards like the Husk and the Heartpiercer Manticore. So this is looking fantastic. You know what? I mean, honestly, I can probably cut those red creatures for now. You know what? I'll keep it here. But probably don't need it. Noting that black-white also looked like it could have been pretty strong here, but I am still very, very happy with our black-red configuration. I'll take a Disciple of Phoenix. I'm tempted to take the gems here, but there is a tiny chance we play something like this if our deck doesn't end up going where we want. Now we have Basilica Screecher versus Read the Bones. And I like the Screecher. I'm not a huge Read the Bones fan, and I do really like Basilica Screecher in this type of deck. You're just going to drain your opponents out. Nice evasive 2-mana creature as well. So let's go ahead and take that. And, you know, we got a couple of which we got some ways to keep the cards flowing. I do like the Basilica Screecher here. Look at all these just really annoying 2-mana cards, right? They all just, oh wow, Anger to the Aether or the Wheel. I'm not going to take the Ubosar Gatekeepers. I'm not splashing. I guess I'll take a Palaka Predation, but probably not going to play it here. Again, I don't like Sire of Insanity. I'm probably just taking Pilgrim's Eye. I'm not too concerned about a card like this. But Pilgrim's Eye actually seems like it can be nice. Just helping us hit our land drops, giving us some value and some fodder to sacrifice to Nantuko Husk. Just taking cards at random here now. I guess I'm more likely to play the Twins than the Stone Shock. Oh, Black Bloom Rogue Table. Literally nobody's in black. You know what? Honestly, I could have taken the Acheron Crusader. But the thing is, would I have played the Acheron Crusader so far in this deck? I mean, take a look. I have 2 Witch's Marks. That's it. I need Rimrock Knights. If I don't have a bunch of Rimrock Knights, I'm probably not going to play it anyways. So I'm still okay with this configuration. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. 15 cards I absolutely love. 15 cards I absolutely love. This is just a really, really nice start. You know, and I don't want to cut any of these cards that I see here. Could actually use a little more removal. I do have a Wild Slash and an Obnixilus's Cruelty. I guess Heartpiercer Manticore also helps me kill little things. But noting that a lot of my creatures don't have... Oh my gosh, we opened one of the best rares in the set. I mean, Priest of the Bloodright would have also been awesome. But I mean, Pia and Kiran Nalaar is on another level. And honestly, there is a non-zero chance we table this card. Non-zero chance. It just feels like there's not a lot of players in black. If anything, hopefully we table the Rakdos Guildgate. But Pia and Kiran Nalaar in our final draft. Look at our 4 drops. Double Heartpiercer Manticore and a Pia and Kiran Nalaar. That is outrageous. Now, this pack is also insane. Loxodon Smiter, Din Rova Horror, Murmuring Mystic, all really good cards. But for us, like I said, we needed a removal. Obnixilus's Cruelty is the perfect pickup for our deck here. And, you know, this looks like one of the best Rakdos decks I've ever drafted. It might just be the best. I mean, this deck looks incredible. Here we have Sideclaw Raptor and Rimrock Knight as options. They're both interesting. Now, I don't have any Acheron Crusaders, and I can just use a solid 3-mana body. I wonder if it's just the Raptor here. And it's a 4-power creature for... I don't know. I really like Rimrock Knight too, though. Just making the Undead Butler strong enough to just battle with other things. You know, I'm going to take the Raptor, but that could be wrong. That could be wrong. But the thing is, I just didn't have any... I didn't have any prowess creatures, and I don't have any heroic cards. Like, if I had the Acheron Crusader, I definitely would have taken the Rimrock Knight. All right, now we're slamming Sidisi. This deck is just has it all. Absolutely has it all. Sidisi is great. Let's take it here. Now I'm more likely to play Pilgrim's Eye, just to make sure that I hit my land drops to be able to get to Sidisi, which is nice. This pack is a bit of a miss. There's a Blood Scrivener, which I don't love, and I don't really like any of the other cards. There's also Boulder Salvo, I guess. I guess I'll just take the cheap card here. I just feel like I'm always going to have cards in my hand. But let's take the Scrivener, I guess, just to give us 2-drop number 6. Now there's a Devour Flesh, a Scab Clan Berserker, and Ordeal of Perforos. I'll take the Devour Flesh, but unlikely to play it. And there's a Wild Slash, so we're going to slam that. Dreadhound is also fine, but our top end is already really good. We have double Gurmag Angler, Sidisi, double Heartpiercer Manticore, and Pia and Kira Nalar. Can certainly use another good, cheap, efficient removal spell. So love the Wild Slash here. And now there's a Gearcrafter versus Dreadbore. I mean, as much as I like Gearcrafter, we already have a million creatures in our deck, and Dreadbore is just the exact removal spell that we needed. I mean, like full stop. This truly is the best Rakdos deck that I think I've ever drafted. There's a Supernatural Stamina, which I'm not sure will make its way into the deck. Murmuring Mystic on the wheel, but doesn't matter for us. I'm just taking cards at random. Just a bunch of cards I'm not going to play. I mean, I guess I don't have to play the Blood Scrivener. There's a Slide Runner. Scab Clan Berserker I don't like because it's double red. Again, black-white super open. But our red was still great. Double Manticore, Pia and Kira Nalar, double Wild Slash, double Witch's Mark Dreadbore. I cannot complain at all about what we have laid out in front of us right now. I really kind of wish I picked up another Nantuko Husk, though. With the triple Butler and the ability to just kill your opponents out of nowhere with the Zulaport Cutthroat, it's a little bit unfortunate. Still not too unhappy with this configuration, though, I will say. This is looking very, very good. Wait, are we? Oh, these are two swamps. I was like, what's going on? All right, so we can just basically add one card and we're good. Let's take a look at this deck here. I could probably use another cheap play. Black Bloom Rogue goes here, but can also act as a land. And, you know, I think I'm okay playing 17 lands. We have 2 Witches Marks. You know, oftentimes the general rule of thumb is when you have 2 spell lands, you play an extra land. But this is kind of close to something between 16 and 17 lands. Given that we have a Pilgrim's Eye and a couple of Witch's Marks as well, I think I'm comfortable playing 17 mana sources with the Pilgrim's Eye and a double Witch's Mark and just play one more spell in this deck. And I think I want something on the cheaper end of the spectrum. 5 removal spells, great curve. Yeah, just looking for another 2 mana play here probably. So then it comes down to Blood Scrivener and Boundary Lands Ranger. How many 4-power things do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 6 ways to trigger this versus the upside of sometimes being able to draw a card. You know, as weird as it is, I think I'm actually going to choose to go for the Ranger. I think our late game is really strong. This also lets us rummage and helps us fill cards up in our graveyard for Delve as well. So I'm just going to go for this. I feel like I just want another 2-mana creature in my deck. So I'm going to play the Boundary Lands Ranger and see how this goes. All right. Now, before round 1 starts, so it's about to start right away, I just wanted to say that if you've been enjoying all of this content and wanted to support the channel in another way, my Patreon is the best way to do so. That's patreon.com/paulcheon. Special shout out to all the patrons here. Thank you so much for all your support. It truly means a lot and allows me to continue making all of this content. Alrighty, let's go. 2 swamps and a mountain. Very, very happy to keep this hand. I wonder if I should be playing an extra mountain, actually, because I have all the double red cards. That might actually be the case. Alright, our opponent went turn 2, Courier's Briefcase. I'm just going to lead with the Screecher here. Our hand is very, very strong, but our opponent on some kind of Gates control deck, which might not be the best matchup for us because our deck is not quite as aggressive. District Guide. That is an excellent start. Turn 2 Briefcase into turn 3 District Guide. They're probably going to get a gate here as well. And I'm just trying to figure out what I want to play next turn. Alright, so they went and got a gate. Pia and Kira Nalar. I could just go for Witch's Mark, only because... I really want to hit a red source to be able to play Pia and Kira Nalar next turn. So yeah, why don't we do that? It's a little bit all in because I could just lose my Screecher. But I think that's fine. Let's discard Nantuko Husk. Actually, is it just Heartpiercer Manticore? No, it's probably... Maybe it's the Manticore because we can embalm it. Alright, we missed. But hey, you know what? That's a good thing because that means I wouldn't have drawn that mountain anyways, right? So now I can go Pilgrim's Eye and get a mountain and kind of work my way up to playing the Pia and Kira Nalar. I feel like evasion might be the key here to beating my opponent. Oh, or not. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just lead things off with an attack here. Okay, and then let's just go Pia and Kira Nalar. If they kill Pia and Kirin Nalaar, that's completely fine. Like, that's what makes this card so absurd, right? Like, I just have flyers. So now they need to play something like a Gates Ablaze, and of course I need to be mindful of that as well. If they use a spot removal spell on Pia and Kirin Nalaar, that makes me feel like there's less of a shot that they have Gates Ablaze. Okay, they played Leaf Crown Dryad. That's completely fair. But we do have the Ob Nixilis' Cruelty here. They're not going to attack me. And what do we do? So the thing is, playing out like a Bountylands Ranger or an Undead Butler doesn't seem especially strong. I almost feel like just draining them might be the correct thing to do here. Kill the District Guide, and then attack with my Screecher. Something along those lines. Just continue putting pressure on them. Alternatively, I can just keep trying to get my mana going and just play the Pilgrim's Eye here instead. Because that gives me 6 lands, which lets me kill the District Guide and something else. Yeah, let's go. Well, I guess I can do that next turn anyways. Yeah, okay. Let's kill this. I'm actually okay trading the Pia for the Leaf Crown Dryad because I was going to use the Thopters to kill the Flyers anyways. To kill the Reach Creature anyways. So now I don't even have to fling something to be able to attack. Now, of course, if they play, I don't know, a big Reach Creature, that's one thing. But it looks like they're going to Sidisi and look for something. So we do have to be mindful, right? This is now the point where we have to be very, very careful with what we choose to play. Because they can cast something like a Gates Ablaze. So they have access to potentially 5 damage here. Certainly attacking for 4. Now the question is, what do we play on top of that? Undead Butler plus Nantuko Husk is pretty interesting. But noting that I won't even be able to get damage through because they have a Sidisi in play. But my Nantuko Husk does get to live. And then I get to get Pia and Kirin Nalaar back and attack through CD. Okay. Sure. All right. Something like that. Fully anticipating a Gates Ablaze here. If they don't have Gates Ablaze, well, I still added a pretty good amount of pressure to the board here. There's the Gates Ablaze, as expected. Let's get back Pia and Kirin Nalaar. Sack everything. And, you know, we kind of expected that, right? Like, there was not too much we could have done there. At least we get to, you know, get a Husk in play and make things a little bit difficult for the opponent. Balaged Recovery on Gates Ablaze, sure. Well, they can't attack us. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. How do we want to do this? Well, basically the idea here is I don't want to play into the Gates Ablaze too much, so I don't really want to play Pia and Kirin Nalaar. Let's go play Pilgrim's Eye and get a Swamp. And then let's play Undead Butler. Dreadbore. Oh, ooh! That is a Zulaport Cutthroat, which is really interesting. Do I want to trade Nantuko Husk for Sidisi is the question. I think the answer is no. If they Gates Ablaze me again... Well, if they play another gate, then everything dies, right? And that's okay. I mean, it's not great, but... The thing is, I have a really cool play up my sleeve, potentially. Do I have a 1-mana creature in my graveyard? I don't. Where I can basically embalm the Heartpiercer Manticore. What kind of attack is this? I guess they're going to play a gate and just wrath the board. That's fine. This is almost 100% gate into Gates Ablaze. In which case they lose their Sidisi anyways. Yeah, that's fine. All right, what do I want to get back? That's the question, right? So this is a Gates Ablaze for 6. I'm just going to let it happen. And I could potentially get back Nantuko Husk. It's not crazy. Because having Nantuko Husk plus Pierre and Kira Nalaar just makes things so difficult for them. So yeah, I actually do think I want to get back the Husk. And being able to go Husk P and Kira Nalaar seems extremely strong. Because that gives me the potential to just basically one-shot my opponent with Heart Piercer Manticore plus Nantuko Husk. I can sack a bunch of stuff, play the Heart Piercer Manticore, and then fling the Nantuko Husk. So, I mean, we are somehow potentially beating a double Gates Ablaze, which is actually insane. Oh my gosh, Possess Skob on Gates Ablaze again? Okay. Well, this is fine, though. I mean, this is why we got back the Husk, because they're probably going to play this. They probably have to play this, and we just sack everything else that's going to die, and the Husk still lives. So now if we draw a land, I think we just win. Okay, so we go Boundary Lands Ranger. Sack it. Attack. Heart Piercer Manticore. Whoo! I am proud of that win. We beat triple Gates Ablaze in our black-red deck. And let me tell you, if I just drafted a normal black-red aggro deck, that might have been difficult to do. But we had kind of a mid-range deck with Undead Butlers and Husks, and just a lot of ways to kind of be able to reset through Gates Ablaze. And that win, that was a nice win. Alrighty, opponent on the play here. Our hand is pretty decent. Gonna need some lands here, but we do have Swamp Mountain on the draw with Butler, Cutthroat, Witch's Mark, and, you know, the Witch's Mark can hopefully find us the lands that we need. It's kind of why we put it in the deck. Blue-white from the opponent, so gonna want lots of removal spells, let's just say. Let's go Butler here. Hope they don't have Essence Scatter or Jwari Disruption. Looks like they do. Oh, do they have multiple counter spells? Like, why are they thinking so hard? I mean, that just baffles my mind. Like, what were they thinking? Also, we missed, and we hit a bunch of red lands, which is unfortunate. Am I okay with this trade? Probably. Like, this can potentially get out of hand. Cloudfin Raptor? Okay, I guess they drew that this turn. Okay. Ob Nixilis's Cruelty is nice, and it looks like they had some kind of a cheap counterspell type effect. Kind of want to play my land. Although, it's weird. If they have Jwari Disruption, it's bad for me. But if I hit Black Bloom Rogue, I kind of want to play it. Although Black Bloom Rogue, that doesn't really matter that much, I guess. Alright. Alright. You know what? I'm going to play this a little more defensively for now. And just pass. I feel like my hand is quite strong here. And discarding a creature is really good because now if this somehow dies, then I can get this back. Sajiri Shelter. Okay, now I'm definitely not playing P and Kira Nalaar. I'm definitely playing around counter magic. I'm going to play this first to see if they want to counter this. Perfect. Because I just feel like the Screecher is more valuable here. What can we get back? I guess we can play Heart Piercer Manticore, sack the Undead Butler, and get back the other Undead Butler. Or, sorry, the other Manticore. Ooh. Okay. And a Zeph. Okay. Alright. Big turn from the opponent there. Lots of flyers. I don't think they're going to block. Okay. I think Manticore is probably the best course of action here. Probably kill the Cloudfin Raptor. Oh, no, I can't kill the Cloudfin Raptor. Then Wingsteed Rider. Let's get back the other Heartpiercer Manticore. Play that and pass. I'll keep the Screecher back to block the Winder. We just have so many more resources than my opponents, so I just want to trade, and I feel like we're going to be okay unless they play something like a Treasure Cruise. The question is whether or not I should block the Brineborn Cutthroat. This is an easy block on the Winder here, and we take 2. Hero of Erois is the play, and... nothing. Okay. I wonder if I just play the other Manticore and just kill the Cloudfin Raptor. I'm not sure. I don't really want this to trade with Brineborn Cutthroat. I'll just play P and Kieran Nalaar, I guess. The thing is, I can just sack Thopters and kill the Cutthroat, which seems better for the most part. And still allows me to save the Heartpiercer Manticore. I can also trade P and Kieran Nalaar for Brineborn Cutthroat. Yeah, I'm okay with that as well. It's like, I still have 2 Thopters in play. That is still very good for me. Let's attack. So, is it time to play Heartpiercer Manticore? Probably. Kill the Cloudfin Raptor, and you know what? I'm just going to play the Pilgrim's Eye here. I'm not too afraid about the Hero of Erois. Let's go ahead and get the Mountain. Our deck just has plenty of things to do with their mana. And we can just play this Manticore from the graveyard, which is great. Okay. Now we play... Actually, you know what? Playing the land was probably bad. Because I have Witch's Mark in my deck. And 4 to the face. Alright! Grind, grind, grind. This deck feels so smooth. So smooth. Plenty of things to do in the early game, and just plenty of things to do in the late game as well. I am loving how this deck's playing out so far. Alright, we are on the play this time, and I'm certainly keeping this. Swamp Mountain, Black Bloom Rogue, Boundary Lands, Ranger, Gurmag Angler, Witch's Mark, Pilgrim's Eye. Definitely the type of hand where I just play the Black Bloom Rogue as a land. I just feel like I'm not going to run out of things to do. Use the Pilgrim's Eye to go get a mountain, and then be able to go Gurmag Angler, and then have the Boundary Lands Ranger find us some cards. Hopefully. Our opponent on the mulligan, playing a gate. Alright, we drew Wild Slash, which is very, very nice. Sometimes you need a 2-drop, and that's what the Boundary Lands Ranger is for. It was our last 2-drop. It was this or the Blood Scrivener. I think the Scrivener would have been more interesting if my curve was a lot lower. I could Wild Slash this, but I can't play anything else, so I just don't think it's worth. I think I'd rather Pilgrim's Eye here and just go get a mountain. I could have played Husk and try to get in for a little bit more damage, but I think this is also fine. And they're not gonna... I mean, obviously getting 1 loot is fine, but it's not the end of the world, right? And it's better for me to just make sure that I can develop my mana here and use my mana in a more efficient manner. So next turn, for example, I can go Wild Slash plus Nantuko Husk and also kill the Jace. This also just depends on what kind of mana that my opponent keeps up, right? For me to decide kind of how I want to sequence my spells. Nightveil Spectre. Ooh, that's a scary one. I'm glad that one's in the graveyard. I know they can't play it on turn 3, but that's a terrifying card. Steward of Solidarity. Wow. They played multiple things that I really want to kill. Yeah, I still think Jace is probably the bigger problem here, so let's go ahead and just kill that right away. And then let's play the Husk. And then next turn, let's see. Can't quite play the Gurmag Angler. Now noting that the Witch's Mark is mana neutral. Probably want to just put this on my flyer. Silk Wrap, probably going on my Husk. The question is, do I want to sack it in response? Because I don't think I have a way to make them kill the Silk Wrap. I think I do, because that puts a card in my graveyard. Oh, this actually lets me cast a Gurmag Angler, right? Yeah, it does. Well, it depends if I find a land, right? So that's a Black Bloom Rogue, which is also really interesting. They only have 2 cards in the graveyard. But what I can do here is go Witch's Mark, discard Black Bloom Rogue, because that guarantees that I can play the Gurmag Angler this turn, right? So I think that's what I want to do. And if I find another land, I can always loot it away. So now this is really interesting because I also have Gurmag Angler, and it's just a matter of whether or not I'm interested in looting any of these cards away. And I don't think I am, so I'm just going to attack. Because I definitely want to play Gurmag Angler this turn. If they're happy with the trade here, okay, that's fair. Now we can play Gurmag Angler and leave a creature in the graveyard that we want to get back, which is probably going to be Nantuko Husk, given that we have the Cutthroat here. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the sequencing there. Having a Boundary Lands Ranger could have been good as well. Maybe I would have preferred having that and just attack with the Pilgrim's Eye instead. Alternatively, I could have just put the wicked thing on the Pilgrim's Eye instead, or on the Boundary Lands Ranger instead. I mean, this still seems fine to me. I assume they're going to chump. And hoping that the combination of our... I'm just hoping that my board is going to be big enough to be able to withstand whatever my opponent follows up their Treasure Cruise from the previous turn. Like, obviously, we can't really beat a sweeper, but, you know, we have a couple of evasive creatures. Silk Wrap isn't too bad. Yep, they take 1 from that. And if I can ever just get... Oh, I guess I can't find a Nantuko Husk, but what else can they do? Because I have a Gurmag Angler as well. There's a Black Bloom Rogue. Sure. And we can still attack with these 2. Okay, we'll play the Guildgate. They're at 4 life, and I have 4 creatures in play. So they need to find some way to gain life, or to get the Zulaport Cutthroat off the battlefield. Like I said, I'm still not 100% sure on the attack with the Boundary Lands Ranger. It feels like I would have really liked the Ranger here, right? Getting back Treasure Cruise is whatever. Now I think they're just dead, though. I guess it depends on what they have. But... So this gets blocked by whatever, by something. This, they puts them down to 3. This puts them down to 2, this puts them down to 1. Okay. Oh, if they have a 2-mana removal spell, it's very bad. Okay, creature is not too bad, actually. Okay. I mean, this kills them if they block like this. Something big needs to go on the Cutthroat, sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this puts them down to 1. This puts them down to 1. All right, they're at 1. Man, I really wish I had a Boundary Lands Ranger in play. They can Treasure Cruise, but if they do, they don't really have the ability to play anything else. Whoa, they're playing a Gateway Plaza? Oh, for Treasure Cruise. That's smart, actually. So they can tap this for 6. I mean, they'll only have 1 mana here. They're Treasure Cruising with 1 mana available. And they still have this Gurmag Angler they're going to chump block with as well. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, well, they're dead. That was really close. Getting them down to 1 was huge. Good game. Beat the Esper control deck, but that was extremely close. I probably made a mistake there with the Boundary Lands Ranger attack. I still think I should have put the Witch's Mark counter on my flyer just to have a 2/2 flyer in play, but then I should have just kept the Boundary Lands Ranger around so that I can continue to rummage every turn with the Gurmag Angler instead of attacking. All right, opponent on the play. Oof, our hand is great. Just need like up 2 lands or 2 drops. I mean, we just have so many good draws here. I guess if we just draw a swamp, that would be bad. But our hand is 2 swamps and a mountain. Ob Nixilis' Cruelty, Wild Slash, Pian Kiran Nalaar, and Sidisi. Not bad. Not bad. Let's keep this. Right, swamp from the opponent. I have to do this weird full control nonsense because I have Wild Slash. Yep. I'm gonna not cast Witch's Mark just yet. I might have to fire it off turn 3 though, but I'd rather be able to get this on a creature if possible. But I still have Wild Slash and an Ob Nixilis' Cruelty, so... Creature? Oh, a mountain, okay. Well, that's fine though. Ob Nixilis' Cruelty for this turn, and then Pian Kiran Nalaar. Kill your thing! Kill your thing! Ob Nixilis' Cruelty. Oh my gosh, how many Rimrock Knights is that? I guess I don't need to use Ob Nixilis' Cruelty for that, given that I'm playing Pian Kiran Nalaar here. Can you imagine having a handful of Rimrock Knights, and then your opponent just slams a Pian Kiran Nalaar? Or honestly, a Ghirapur Gearcrafter. Very, very similar. Alright, Wild Slash here. Sure. Acheron Crusader, okay. I think I'm only attacking with 1 Thopter and keeping 1 back for the Rimrock Knight. Just looking at my hand. Basically, my plan this turn is to play Heartpiercer Manticore and kill the Crusader in sack a Thopter. I don't know what they're thinking, but... I mean, they probably have some kind of removal spell here, but... Ob Nixilis' Cruelty, I guess, would be pretty good. Alright. And this still gives me a 1/1 to block the Rimrock Knight. Ultimate price on the Manticore is fine. Like, I get this back. And this gives you such a big edge in kind of the Rakdos mirror, right? They have 1 card left. They don't really want to attack me. And we are looking in phenomenal shape here. Nothing really to discard for the Witch's Mark. I guess we just attack with the Flyer. And then we just place a DC and sack it. And then go tutor for something sweet. I don't even know what I'm getting, to be honest. Is it a Dreadbore, just in case? I have a Witch's Mark. I want to get back the Pian Kiran Nalaar. So is it just an Undead Butler, maybe? Is that crazy? Just to get back Pian Kiran Nalaar? Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of in for it. I mean, I have a Nantuko Husk as well. It just goes so well with both of those cards. And they need to have an exile-based removal spell. So I just feel like this is pretty good for me. Okay. And they, I mean, they have a great Rakdos deck too. Undead Butler. There's our Dreadbore. Play Husk. I guess I won't play the land because I have the Witch's Mark. But this is looking phenomenal. I mean, honestly, next turn I can just play the Manticore, sack the Butler, kill Rimrock Knight, get back Pian Kiran Nalaar, and then I'll have a 4/3, a 2/2, and a Pian Kiran Nalaar in hand with a Cruelty and a Witch's Mark. I mean, honestly, I can even get back the Sidisi, but I think getting Pian Kiran Nalaar is better. Maybe I should have played a land. Like, what if they go Landsire of Insanity or something crazy? Yeah, you know what? You know, the thing is, I want the 6th land anyways. I probably should have played the land. You can tell that my opponent's staring at this Undead Butler, and it's like, wow, this is the most annoying creature in the entire world. What the heck? Why did you get this card? What's wrong with you, Paul? I can just go infinite, just keep chaining Undead Butlers. I think my opponent disconnected. This might be one of those salty disconnect losses. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%, you know, but no, they're here. I don't know why that happened. Anyways. All right, so we have a 4-3 and a 2-2 in play. They have a Scab Clan Berserker, which does not do anything. I mean, how can they possibly win this game? I mean, it's going to be very, very tough. Oh, you know what? I should have just played P and Kiran Nalaar. Yeah, I'm playing sloppy now. That's my fault. Just play P and Kiran Nalaar, attack with Nantuko Husk. That's way better. But my plan here is to just play P and Kiran Nalaar and the Gurmag Angler. Yeah, that was a mistake. My bad, folks. My bad. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I doubt they're gonna... This is just insane. So it's going to be hard to be able to beat this anyways. They've got like a removal spell in their hand, I guess. But it's just like, what do you do? Yeah, Dreadbore, sure. Yep. And a concession. This deck is firing on all cylinders. Good early game, right? The double Wild Slashes helped a ton here. They had a really nice aggressive start. Their deck looked totally fine, but our deck just goes over the top of a lot of the slightly more aggressive mid-range strategies, which I really like. Pure control might be a problem. Alrighty. This hand, I mean, it's a little bit slow. I'm going to keep this, though. I have a bunch of 3s, and I think the P and Kiran Nalaar will definitely help me. The P and Kiran Nalaar will definitely help me here. Kiora's Follower turn 2 on the play. This might be tough. I'm going to actually just run out Witch's Mark here and just dig, put cards in my graveyard, and we have plenty of lands there anyways. Don't need to play out the Pilgrim's Eye. All right, remember what I said about control? It might be a difficult matchup. If they're on the play with a turn 2 Kiora's Follower, I think I'm probably a dog, but we'll see what happens. Let's play the Scythe Claw Raptor here into the P and Kiran Nalaar into Gurmag Angler, and hope that that's good enough. Being able to kill the Kiora's Follower would have been really nice. District Guide, okay. Did they play a land this turn? So they have either another play here, right? Because you probably want to get a gate with the District Guide, but this means there's a good chance they might have another play here. Otherwise, you don't play the land, you play you know. Yeah, they have another play. Crawl Harpooner. Oh, that's annoying. Well, you know what? This P and Kiran Nalaar should be awesome for us. Let's go ahead and play that. Four cards in hand for the opponent. Great start for them. Really interesting with what I want to do here. Like, do I just play it slow here? And just play Pilgrim's Eye? Or Gurmag Angler, maybe? Just my mana situation is really weird. With all this open mana, I don't want to make a big, hasty attack. Let's go get a mountain. Play said mountain. And I'm just going to pass. Because they're going to play something here. They have 5 mana. They're going to kill something or... Yeah, exactly. Whoa, but they took 4 damage. Ooh, I don't know if that was worth. Not sure if that was worth. Alright, so let's go ahead and play a Cruelty on the Harpooner. And then we can just attack with everything now. And yeah, this is a fine exchange. So they're at 13. Then I can play the Angler here, probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to keep Pia and Kirinelar in the graveyard. All right. 4 gates in play. So Gates Ablaze would not kill the Angler. And are they just taking all of this? What's in their hand? What is in their hand? I mean, look, if they had a Wrath, they would have played it on the previous turn. Creatures without flying or island walk can't attack. Oh, wow. Okay. So only my flying creatures can attack? Okay. At least I have 3 flyers. Okay. Whew. Oh man, I've never had somebody cast Stormtide Leviathan against me before. All right, this is going very, very smoothly. Smoother than I could have ever expected. We're also getting really, really solid draws here. Drawing Pia and Kirinelar a lot helps as well. 5-0. 5-0 in our very last Pioneer Masters draft so far. And we've cracked the double digits. I wasn't even paying attention. Rank 46. Okay. On the play here, Wild Slash, Nantuko Husk, Obnixilus's Cruelty, and Gurmag Angler. Certainly have to keep that. Alrighty. Okay. Dreadbore is not a bad draw here. Very defensive hand here. Granted, I don't even have that much removal in my deck, but we kind of drew all of them. Evolving Wilds for a Mountain. So are they an aggressive deck? They could also be Rakdos. A second Evolving Wilds. Okay, well, they're certainly... Or they're far less likely to be aggressive here. Please don't Wild Slash this. Yeah, when you don't have the other creatures, Nantuko Husk certainly looks much worse. Can't play the Heartpiercer Manticore. Oh, okay. I guess we just chill. I don't really want to kill the Catacomb Sifter right now. Gnarlback Rhino, okay. It's like, I kind of want to save my removal for other big creatures, given that they're playing with forests. Like, here I will definitely be using Obnixilus's Cruelty on the Rhino. They might attack me with the Sifter, which is fine. The nice thing is they don't actually get a trigger here with the Sifter, because it just gets exiled. What do we got here? No Swamp, okay? Swamp would be bad. So that's a Heartpiercer Manticore, but just like nothing to fling, but I think I'm just going to play it anyways, just to have a 4-3 in play. And we'll just pass. Oh, I suppose I could have attacked with the Husk and trade the Manticore for these two. Yeah, no, yeah, I should have done that. I don't... Wow. Okay. Slow down, paulcheon. Slow down. You're playing like a loose goose at the moment. An extremely loose goose. Play the Butler. They could have a Wild Slash. And I don't have any creatures in my graveyard, so that would be kind of annoying, I guess. I mean, if they have a Wild Slash, certainly they should kill the Undead Butler. Okay. Ooh, Sidisi is a nice one. Let's kill the Rhino. Yeah, I missed out on 2 damage last turn, and I feel pretty bad about that, I will say. Noting that I can't actually play the Gurmag Angler. Okay. So we have Sidisi to get back, to get, you know, another Ob Nixilis' Cruelty, or if we need that, or P and Kirin Nalar. We were able to kill a couple of the 4/4s. We have the ability to play Gurmag Angler. We can even Wild Slash plus Gurmag Angler if they play something small. That is not something small. Witch's Mark is actually quite interesting here. I can pitch the Wild Slash, actually. It's not particularly good here. And I can put this on the Manticore and make things kind of tough for them. So why don't we do that? Find 2 fresh cards. Attack. Okay. I'm always happy with a chump block. Let's play Gurmag Angler for 4 mana. And exile some random spells. Then we'll pass. Now, they do have the option of turning this into just a gimonstrous creature. And what am I sacking to the Sidisi? Is it Nantuko Husk? The problem is I only have 1 Dreadbore, I think. So, which makes things kind of tough. 6/7. Alright. 6/7 is a lot. 6/7 is a lot. I can get a Witch's Mark. That doesn't do anything. Alright, I guess we'll play Sidisi here and sack the Husk and see what we can get. P and Kirin Nalar doesn't seem particularly good here. I needed that Dreadbore. There's an Undead Butler, which I can get, which can get me back something random, but nothing particularly strong. It might just be Ob Nixilis' Cruelty, honestly. -5/-5. This becomes a 10/11. So then it becomes a 5/6. So if they draw a land, it's still very bad for me. I mean, the alternative is P and Kirin Nalar. Alright, you know what? Let's just get the Cruelty. Look, if they just play land go on the Asp, I can just attack with Sidisi. So that's also fine. Okay, this is all fine. Yeah, so now the Cruelty can actually be used here. Drawing that extra land is obviously not ideal. And I would have preferred to find a Dreadbore or something, but at the very least, this, you know, their creatures are quite small, so they just don't have great blocks here. I'm going to keep these lands in my hand. I have Boundary Lands, Ranger, and another Witch's Mark in my deck. So just no reason to... And 7 mana is more than enough here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. 10 lands? Okay. I mean, they're at 12 life, and they have a really good board here. So they might be... Oh, geez. P and Kirin Nalar. Okay. I mean, all we can do is attack now. That is all we have available to us. They can hit me back for a lot as well. So this can be interesting because they can just set up a situation where they're like block sack, block sack, block sack. But for me, yeah, all I can do is attack. I'm at 13. Goodness. I need something good here. I mean, that's a blocker, so that helps. Did they take 9 is the question. No. Okay. So they take 4. They're going to do 2 to my dome. Scry. They can kill this and deal 8 damage to me, so it's not quite lethal. They're at 8. This is close. That was a really great follow-up. P and Kirin Nalar is obviously insane. Oh, I can find another Manticore here. Oh no, there's my P and Kirin Nalar. I guess now I'll play my land because I want to be able to play P and Kirin Nalar and sack if I need to. Close one here. Very, very close one. We have the bigger creatures, though. So it's a relatively even board. They have the P and Kirin Nalar, but I have the ability to get my own back as well. And so, like I said, it's just very close. I mean, I got the 5/4 here. I have Heart Piercer Manticore, so if I actually get Nantuko Husk... Oh, do I have one in the graveyard? I do. Okay, so that makes things interesting as well. Depending on... No, I mean, it depends on what they play here. They can sack my Pilgrim's Eye to kill my Butler and deal 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage to me. That puts me down to 2. So are they like 1 mana short? They're 1 mana short of killing me, I think. Because they can sack the Pilgrim's Eye to kill the Butler, hit me for 9 damage, and then if they had 2 more lands, then they can sack the Thopter to kill me. They're at 8 life. And if I get back Pia and Kirin Nalar, I can get blockers out of the way too. So they have to be really careful with how they attack as well. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's really heads up by them. I still need to draw something, I think. Black Bloom Rogue. I mean, that counts. It's a card. Let's see. If they end of turn kill my Butler, because I can't flash anything in. But then I still have a 2/3 to block with. So if I attack with these 3, they're going to sack... They're going to play the Pilgrim's Eye. They're going to sack the Pilgrim... Block sack with the Pilgrim's Eye. I just attack with these, I think. Force the action. If they kill my Undead Butler, then they die. That's what happens. Because I have 9 mana. That's right. I have 9 mana. 9 mana is important because basically what I need to do is if they kill the Butler, I get back the Husk. I get back the Husk, pay 3 mana. And then I have 5 mana left, play land number 6. Sack all my other creatures, sack the Manticore. Then play the Manticore from my graveyard, sack the Husk, and kill my opponent. But it looks like my opponent's not letting my Butler die. And I'm at 8 life. I play another creature here. And hopefully that means that I don't die. Because this puts me at an effective 5, 3. If they kill this, I block here. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're still 1 damage short. Even if they kill my Black Bloom Rogue, they're a damage short. Right? If they kill my Black Bloom Rogue with a removal spell, I chump with the Butler. I take 5. They sack a Thopter. I take 2 more, and I go to 1. Really close game here. 6 cards in graveyard for my opponent as well, so pretty close to actually having Black Bloom Rogue be a 5/3 with Menace, which turns this also into a lethal attack. Thing is, they just can't attack me while I have an untapped Undead Butler, right? Just like, get back Pia. I should have played the land. Oh my gosh, because if I get back Pia and Kirin Nalar, if I draw another land, I just kill them on the spot. I know, it's interesting, because I do have Witch's Mark and Bounderlands Ranger as well, and getting back Nantuko Husk is also just lethal. 3, 4, 5 damage. This is still 1 damage short. 3 in the air, 2 gets through on the ground. Yeah, this is still short. I mean, they're still going to hit me for 3 in the air. But they have to block all the creatures on the left. So then I go to 2, and Pierre Kirin Nalar dies. If they have something else here, then I'm in trouble. So I really need to top deck something here. Another thing. Because they've been scrying, so they have something here. Oh my gosh. Mistcutter Hydra defensive. Come on! Oh, man. Okay, you know what? Hold on. I can hit the Manticore, right? I have a 3 in 13 shot of hitting the Manticore for the win. We missed. That's super unfortunate. Super duper unfortunate. Man, we could have hit the Manticore too. That would have been super nice. Yep, 2 damage short. The reason being is this is Menace, right? So if I got them down to 2, that would have been lethal. The Mistcutter Hydra was really good. And they're at 1. Yeah. My opponent found the line. Okay, 5-1. But good plays from the opponent. Alrighty. Let's Let's forget that about that last one and move on. Okay, hand here. You know, I haven't had like a 2-drop. I have 6 of them, right? I just haven't had a 2-mana creature it feels like in a while. All right, let's kill the Swift Spear. Witch's Mark. I mean, I'm just gonna play it. Just need to find a 3-mana play. Oh, is this how it ends? We discarded a land and drew 2 lands. Oh no, drew 3 lands. Ooh, this is not ideal. This is not ideal, my friends. Okay. Oof. Discarding a land and 3 lands in a row. Our hand was Witch's Mark, Wild Slash, Sidisi. And our hand is now 4 lands and a Sidisi, which is not ideal at all. Alright. We have a Gurmag Angler. We will play it. That was a good draw. No creatures in the graveyard either, so it doesn't really matter. And I have nothing to sacrifice, so I think I'm just playing Sidisi as a 5-mana 4/6 Death Touch. And hoping that that's good enough here. I mean, I'm assuming they have something to put on the Wingsteed Rider. Acroan Crusader, sure. Okay. Is it just a go? Steward of Solidarity. Okay, and then they have like a Rimrock Knight maybe? I don't know. This is actually like interesting. Like, do I sack Gurmag Angler to get like a Pia and Kiran Nalaar? I don't think so. I just think having 2 giant creatures seems pretty good here. It's just a big cost of my mana too, right? I think I'd rather have a 5/5 and a 4/6 than, you know, something like I could get an Undead Butler, right? And then just kind of play a slightly longer game where I get the Butler, sack the Gurmag Angler, then get the Angler back. Something along those lines. It looks like they have some kind of pump spell here. Sure. No way. Follow the Hammer? Okay, well that's disgusting. They drew one of those, and now we're just in some supreme amount of trouble. Holy crap. Okay. Well, we're gonna die to the Wingsteed Rider. Yeah. I mean, this was just kind of an not an ideal run out, given our opening hand. So did they draw something else? Okay. I mean, yeah. That's, you know. Hey, what, you know, it's still important to showcase the archetype that everybody hates before we go out, right? And that's Boros Heroic. Man, this would be a really disappointing finish. 5-2 now. 5-0 into 0-2. Come on. 2 more. 2 more. Alrighty. Double Wild Slash, Basilica Screecher, Heartpiercer, Manticore with 3 lands. 2 mountains and a swamp. So, absolutely keeping this hand. Let's keep this. Evolving Wilds from the opponent. Getting a Plains. Okay. Ooh, P and Kiran Nalaar. Okay. Well, this... If I lose with this hand, it's just... It was not meant to be. This is a very, very good hand. Blue-white. Turn 1, Steward of Solidarity. Easy Wild Slash on that. Into Basilica Screecher. I mean, Wild Slash is so busted, right? Being able to do that is just ridiculous. Alright. Let's go Screecher. Hopefully we can find an untapped land here so I can play the Black Bloom Rogue on turn 3. But if they play a creature that I can kill, I'm certainly happy with just going Wild Slash into the Black Bloom Rogue here. We did draw the land, so that makes things very interesting. Yeah, so I'm going to play Mountain. I'm going to attack. See what they do. And then let's just play the Rogue. Like, obviously they can play something to grow the Cloudfin Raptor, but unless they can play 2 things, it's not too bad. Oh, or play Thunderclap Wyvern. Oh my gosh. Yikes. Okay, fair enough. right, 2 from the Black Bloom Rogue. And then now what? Let's go P and Kieran Alar. One more land here would be nice, so that I could go Heartpiercer, Manticore plus Wild Slash if needed on the Wyverns, or Wyvern, rather. Let's take all of this. Another one? Okay, you know what? Is it just one of those days? Is it just going to be one of those days? It sure feels like one of those days. They're at 17. Hitting for 4, and then what do I do, though? Like, if they don't block... I mean, I have Nantuko Husk, which is pretty interesting. I mean, we can certainly get into some kind of weird racing situation as well. Good no block from the opponent. I mean, I'm at 12 life, they're at 13. Wow. Not killing that Cloudfin Raptor ended up really hurting me. I don't think it was actually the wrong play, though. Like, not attacking in that previous turn was bad, but here I think we're okay. Okay, if they tap out, I can actually kill them. If they just, like, tap out for something, which that's kind of how they've been playing, I can actually kill them. It's very, very risky, though. But basically, my plan would be to sack my entire team and then kill them with Heartpiercer Manticore. Is that the line that I have available to me? Because they're going to trump with the Pilgrim's Eye. Can I do this where I don't die? 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. God, don't have an Azorius Charm or something. Or a counterspell. Gosh, how do I do this? Do I go to the face? All right, I mean, are they just dead on board? Like, what if they block my Husk? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9. The only thing I don't like is the fact that they have blue, colorless open. So I guess I can still keep my Flyers back and see what they do. But then if they Azorius Charm me, it's not great. Okay, let's attack with these 3. They could have Ardenvale Tactician. Interesting. Let's see. Let's sack the Black Bloom Rogue. 11, 10, 9. What you got? Oof. All right. How do I want to do this? I'm at 3. I mean, do I just go for the Manticore? Oh my gosh. I don't think I have to go for it. I can play Gearcrafter. So let's say I play Gearcrafter and put them down to 8. If they counter that, these 3 block these 3, or I only need to block 2 of them, and I can still kill them. So yeah, that's my plan. Like, it just feels like they have a counterspell, doesn't it? And getting this drain effect seems good. Alright, it resolved. Which is great. If they had an Ardenvale Tactician, they would have used it. And if they have a bounce spell, we still can block 3 things. They're at 8 life too. I did fire off that Wild Slash randomly, but given how we're tied up on mana, I actually think that was okay. And now they have to decide if they have enough to actually kill me here. Which they don't. And my board might just be big enough here. We'll see. I guess I could have sacked to the Husk. Alright. They have 3 cards in hand? Oh, gosh. So they block this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they get burned out. Oh my gosh, this is super close. They have 3 cards in hand? Ay, ay, ay. Alright, let's attack like this. Okay. So they go to 6. Alright, now what? They let the Gearcrafter resolve, so maybe the Heartpiercer Manticore is good here. This is big. I mean, I can also just play Pilgrim's Eye and just continue this little slow grind here. And that still gives me enough blockers here, I think. All right, we'll just keep waiting. Okay, they had the Essence Scatter. Okay, we're still alive here, unless they have another removal spell. They top deck the Tactician. God. That's so brutal. That's so brutal. I mean, I tried. Like, I tried to find a way to attack through this, but we just couldn't find a removal spell for these creatures. And we just wanted to get their life total low enough. And I actually think we played that game reasonably well. And they just top decked the Tactician, right? Like, we got them to Essence Scatter. We got them to make some uncomfortable blocks. And I just couldn't fire off the Manticore when they had that much health. And it is what it is. So this, like, I've had a lot of disappointing non-trophies, but going 5-0 into 0-3 with this deck is very disappointing. But I thought this deck was fantastic. I think this deck was like a 9 out of 10. And this is a trophy deck like 75% of the time, in my opinion. This deck was really, really strong. And sadly, we didn't quite get there. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Happy to move on from Pioneer Masters Draft. This was a fine format. Certainly not one of the better ones, in my opinion, of the last of 2024. But it was still fine. You know, I had a decent amount of fun. Certainly a little more fun than my partner in crime, Marshall. He, I think, really disliked the set. But for me, I thought there was enough going on. Things I liked, the Undead Butler stuff, the Rakdos Sacrifice stuff worked nice. Things I didn't like, Red Aggro was far too pushed. They needed to dial that back. Just a little bit, not a ton, but they needed to dial it back. Witch's Mark plus Rimrock Knight plus Acheron Crusader, I don't know about that. And the Gates deck was really fun. The Grixis control decks were really fun. And I wish that the Selesnya, I wish green was stronger. So I wish Selesnya or Gruul or Golgari was a little bit stronger, which means they probably needed to put in another really strong green card. They probably needed to downshift a really good green card to make it on par with a lot of the other colors. I don't know what that would be. Maybe it's supposed to be Clear Shot at common. I don't know how fun that is, but something of that nature to have it be comparable to some of the other colors. But outside of that, I mean, look, you know, this deck was fantastic. I thought we did a really good job navigating the draft. And unfortunately, this is not the best result. But look, 5 wins still net you gems. And we are going to be moving on from Pioneer Masters and moving on to whatever becomes available on Arena until, of course, Aetherdrift comes out. But anyways, that's going to be it for Pioneer Masters, our final Pioneer Masters draft. I want to thank all of you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button for more daily videos just like this. If you've enjoyed all of this content and wanted to support the channel in another way, my Patreon is the best way to do so. That is patreon.com/paulcheon. Shout out to all the patrons. Thank you so much for your support. Additionally, check out TCGplayer.com for all your TCG singles and sealed product needs. Whether you need some booster boxes or some singles, check them out. Click that affiliate link in the description below before you make any purchases. Last but not least, check out heavyplay.com for premium Magic the Gathering supplies and accessories. If you want top of the line deck boxes, playmat, sleeves, dice boxes, and more, heavyplay.com is the place to go. Make sure you go to heavyplay.com/paulcheon for 10% off your first order. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.